Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I'm going to share some rank battles that I think point us to the significance and the meaningful nature of soulbound reward cards. Often I hear a lot of criticism towards the game ever since we moved towards soulbounds, and this video will hopefully give 3 specific battle examples that are pointing us to the deep and significant value of owning these assets. Now, we know that they cost money to unlock, and that's annoying. We wish they were unlocked for free. Many of us do. Not me, because I actually see that as a value proposition, meaning they're more valuable when they aren't easily attainable. They're not easily attainable if they're unlocked via cost. And so this isn't exactly to prove the point that the way they're being implemented is best. It's just simply to show the value of these cards. Hugely important, deeply meaningful. Both the last set from Chaos Legion as well as the new set from Rebellion. They'll both be featured in this one. If that sounds interesting, stick around. My name is Dwayne Cunningham. I go by Infidel1258. You can call me 12. And leave comments on any of my videos, including this one. And I might just turn it into a separate video, which I'm overdue for. We'll do a FAQ video this week. Okay, let's get into it. So I have 3 battles queued up, all from today. And they're all Gold League 1. And strong opponents. As you can see here, I'm on the bottom. My opponent has a diamond level deck too, and so it's not like I'm pushing around goldies who don't have something. So watch this build out with the rule set. We'll pause it again. Okay, there we go. Well, pause. So I missed a couple fire shots, but let's see what we got here. Blast rule set, Little League. Everyone's got equalizer hit points. 57 mana cap, blue, green, death, and dragon are available. And then in that context with this team, I always love playing Quixote Devious, because for 4 mana you're getting a speed buff, which is so critical, and then you get an archery buff, which isn't necessarily particularly overpowered, but the speed is deeply meaningful. And then the dragon component is like the more interesting side of things. It didn't directly come into play here, but it opens an option, like if you're restricted in some major way, as Little League represents, only 4 mana or lower, I want more options, not less. I do that by bringing in a dragon summoner or maybe a multi-splinter summoner to try and give you more options to draw from. So we went dragon, and then because of the blast damage, out the gate, I'm thinking reflection shield. Who is my reflection shield from these teams? I could use the neutral 2 mana, I forget what his name is right now. It's a neutral card, it's a melee, 2 mana, it has a reflection shield. But the best one out of these teams, for sure, in Little League is going to be this guy here, Tidebiter. And so for 3 mana, you get that reflection shield. Now, reward cards, we're trying to talk about that. But what do we see here? We see a brand new low-level Rebellion reward card. Shock Trooper level 2. That's low for Diamond, essentially a Diamond League deck. Level 2, when level 6 is the max, and he's got that electrified, so is that going to work out? Well, remember, Equalizer is going to give him that extra hit points, so it's less of a problem. And second of all, in Little League, a 4 mana, 4 damage output is huge. Yes, he's got a nerf with the electrified, which is one of those negative abilities. But it's fine, especially when the equalizer is in play, especially when I have access to blue, because I got triage, and that's going to hold us up just fine. Let's watch it play out, and we'll talk more while we do. I almost played my Musa Salim, which is a max level Musa. I got 2 damage output from my Musa. He's only got 1. The shatter is really important, especially in Equalizer. It's very easy to put a card like Chaos Rearguard, who's quite resilient and has armor and hit points. I was expecting my opponent to do the same, and so I wanted to bring my Musa Saline. But as you can see, I needed a reflection shield. I felt I needed 2 triages to deal with my electrified, and then I wanted the Merideli Guardian for sure. And see, the triages are holding me up, no problem. The reflection field is containing the blast, and we're holding the ground. And so, you know, part of how we're winning this is definitely the resiliency that's coming from my Chaos Legion cards, no doubt about it. But definitely, this 3 bomb from the Shock Trooper is putting in work. That's 5 damage right there. That's 5 damage from 1 shot, and it is the most damaging card on the field. You know, you got the Kulu Swim Hunter with 3 archery because of the nerf. You have the Tidebiter with 3 damage because of there is no nerf, I should say. But it's tied for number 1, and it's a level 2 epic. It's a level 2 card, and it's tied for number 1 in damage output. And by the way, in a moment, we're going to kill the Angelic Mandarin, which is currently silencing me, nerfing my damage output, and it's going to claim the lead at a level 2 card. These are so important, so significant, so impactful. And when people talk in the intro, I talked about how it can be commonplace to, let's say, undermine or like underrate, or maybe, like simply mock the value proposition provided by the game to the player through rewards such as this. Does a card like this matter financially? It does. It helps me win games. If we don't recognize that as a value proposition or even as a financial opportunity, we are not fully understanding what the game is offering us when it gives us soulbound reward cards. It's an NFT that's mine. Yes, of course, it is locked and I have to unlock it, and that is a cost. And to some of you, that's a deal breaker. But it is wrong to say it doesn't have a financial value, because it is providing a financial reward by unlocking victories such as that one there. Let's carry to the next battle, and we'll see different cards with different summoners. I'm really pleased to see this one in my deck. I recently upgraded that. I took some fresh fiat, and I bought some DEC, and I unlocked level 4 of this guy here. It's, in my opinion, let's just say I consider it very strong. Everyone seems to think Lorcus is one of the best. Let's find out. And as you can see, the deck, again, we're facing off against someone who has a strong competitive deck. We have, first let's feature my deck. We have Chaos Orc, which is nothing special, but I do love this card. Let's set up the abilities in the rule set, and then we'll carry forward. Okay, and Ambush. Everybody's got Snipe, everyone's got Born Again, and everyone's got Earthquake. So Flight is an amazing choice in this context, and we're going to see how that pans out. Before we go any further, actually, and look at that. We almost delete the Will-O-Wisp before anything, like 10 damage between Ambush and first round fire. I love this card. Rebellion. Half my deck is Rebellion. 2 of them are Chaos, and 2 of them are soulbound reward cards. The Marks Rat and the Idri Fire, both Chaos reward cards. And then we're facing off against, I'm pretty sure, Will-O-Wisp is a reward, Skok is a reward, Rift Wing was a Chaos Legion card, I believe, and Venari Marks Rat reward. So rewards are so impactful, and the Lorcus is an amazing card, and what a great buff. But man, if his Skok was maxed out. That's one of the points I want to feature here. We talk about how, again, it sucks that they cost something to unlock, but having them cost something to unlock means that we can then buy them because they're unlockable, and some people will access that as an exit point for their valuation. Now, they have to do that. They have to spend that money to make it transferable, but obviously people have done that, and there's been a pretty thriving market around those soulbound rewards, especially within the first 48 hours of the unlocks for the Chaos Legions. And I expect there'll be a similar sort of moment of excitement when the Rebellions are made unlockable, which apparently isn't going to be very far off. So Lorcus is doing great things, but if Duskblight was level 4 and not level 3, we would get 1 more magic damage. We would see 1 more magic damage on Riftwing and 1 more magic damage on Will-O-Wisp, and then they would all be buffed, not to 3 but to 4. Let's watch what happens, and I just watch the impact of these cards. Idri, it holds it down. I get a few phase dodges, and because of the Reborn, you're going to see some redemptions. These are super meaningful cards. This is a card, Chaos Orc, that I think is worth more than the market implies. It's one of the cheapest Rebellion cards. It's a common. It's not a super powerful tank, but it's got good armor. It's got decent stats. It's a little vulnerable to magic, for instance, but I'm creating a distraction with Idri Fire over here, so that's less of a problem. If I wasn't using the summoner, everyone's dying. 2 damage per round because of Earthquake rather. I really think this card is being overlooked, and partly it's because cards like Lorcus have been around longer, only a couple months, but the extra time of Lorcus as well as the one before that mean that there's smaller supply on the marketplace, which drives their prices to higher places, which makes people think Lorcas is better because it's currently priced higher. It's priced higher because of supply demand, and cards in my mind like Girath or whatever he's called here, the squirrel, will be more expensive too. We'll see. So again, we're clearly winning. Flight was huge. That's a rebellion talking or ability. My martyr kicks in and puts in work. My rebellion cards putting in work, and one of the key points within this battle was that the access to an improvement, which was not taken by my opponent, was partly, I think, maybe entirely why he lost. To say that more clearly, my buddy didn't have his max Skok, and that is why he lost. If he had gone ahead and upgraded, that's how important these reward cards are. If this was not level 3 but level 4, it's going to buff. It's going to be 3 extra damage. These are going to, instead of 3 attack damage output, they're going to 4. Plus, by the way, the Mark's route was misplaced. If it had been put in a snipe position, we would have killed it first and foremost. That would have been good for the bear as well as the will-o-wisp. So that was a bit of an oversight. Regardless, clearly the Skok was a key for my opponent. Not being leveled was a problem for them. These soulbounds are that important. Level 3 to level 4 makes a world of difference. If you can play level 4, you need level 4. They're that important. And finally, here we have I'm playing again a woefully underleveled soulbound reward card. This is a rebellion, the halfling refugee. Level 2 out of level 6, and yet it's making the play from a Diamond League or at least a Gold 1 League battle. Here we go. Let's look at the rule sets before we go any further. Oh, so we missed a backfire there from the Uraeus on my Chaos Agent. Let's see. Everybody's got Reach, Corrosive Fog, and everybody's got Snipe. Snipe is pretty irrelevant, but again, like that second battle, I love this Mark's Rat in this context, because if my opponent does have a damage output, they're going to focus fire my Mark's Rat, and if they do, buff. Let's see if that ends up playing out. And I love the Summoner, by the way. Just side note, love the Summoner, especially when you can get cards that are maybe untraditional due to certain rule sets in places where they're less vulnerable, and therefore can proc that Enrage in a bigger way later. Because Scavenge is going to grow my Antoid platoon, and by the time he's Enraged, he's going to have 12, 15 hit points. Let's watch. So I created just meat shields in the back, hoping because it was a low mana play, 16 mana cap, I expected a sneak. That usually when it's low mana, you have to expect a sneak. And there we go. My Mark's Rat took out his archer. The Corrosive doing things. The Snare going to work on the Pellicor. A 5-bomb from the Halfling Refugee. Now notice my I didn't cover it, but my Refugee did weary itself in the round 1. But then I think moving forward, it's a 10% chance every round, meaning if you weary in the first round, you're not probably going to weary again in the match. And because of the Enrage on my Summoner, this is a card that hits hard. And for 1 mana on a 16 mana cap, how meaningful is that? 5 damage output, 6 hit points, or 6 hit points before it got hit, and 3 damage before it got hit. So, I mean, strong, damage doer, powerful, lean. I could have put this in the second spot, but putting the Antoid platoon in the first spot made me vulnerable to, for instance, magic attack. And I want the platoon to have time to breathe so it can scavenge up and get stronger and stronger. And I don't know if you think it looks good or bad for me at this moment, but this Enrage is going to go to work. And we're already up to 12 damage, and we're already, we got the shield. We're good. We're good. And for 1 damage, the Refugee has killed 2 monsters. For 1 mana, rather. He should have killed 3 there. But we're fine. I think he kills 3 here. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he killed 3 of their team. And that's a 1 mana monster. So whether it's Chaos Legion Soulbounds, or whether it's Rebellion Soulbounds, or every other issuance from any part of the past or any part of the future, they have a deep and meaningful impact on the gameplay, at least for that season. Now, it's possible you might look back even further to the Soulbounds, or the rewards that were not Soulbound, and say, they didn't have that same meta impact. But I would argue that's a direct result of them having not been soulbound. Meaning, when a card was issued for rewards and it was not soulbound, it could be sold for money immediately. And that process made everybody who wanted it be able to access it. That, some people consider that a bug. Some people consider that a feature. They want to be able to restrict access across time and give themselves an advantage. And they want to have that disproportionate opportunity to have that opportunity, those cards, by playing more than you. And so I see, that's the way I look at it. It's like, it's an opportunity I can earn by playing more. I know that it's possible you play all you want, buy all your energy, and not get the card, and that's annoying. But when we look at 3 battles like this, and we see how impactful soulbound cards are to my ability to unlock value, we need to stop saying one thing at least. Maybe it's annoying that the cards are locked. Maybe you love it. But let's at least admit that they're deeply meaningful and they provide value. They are not, even though they are non-financial, meaning non-transferable, non-sellable, non-rentable, they are financial in nature because they're providing reward for your time and effort. They're unlocking more victories, which earn more SPS, which climb you higher into the leaderboards, which get you more glint, which get you more cards. These non-financial assets have a financial consequence. And so we have to recognize that. And if we fail to recognize that, we're not understanding the reward structure and the complexity and the genius behind it of Splinterlands. And that's part of why this game is awesome, because it actually rewards us for time and attention. And I think I proved that here. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the soulbound topic. But also I want to hear about what soulbound cards are really impacting you. And finally, which of these Rebellion soulbound cards are you most excited to see once the People's Guild proposal goes through and we go ahead and start seeing those be unlockable? Man, that will be exciting. Let's leave it there. Have an amazing day. God bless.